Hello, I am going to show you the cards for this month's Stamp Club, December 2017, and it is using our sponge brayers and a masking technique. It's super fun. So Stamp Club members, you will have received the step-by-step tutorials by PDF with the supply list and all the measurements. And I'm going to just get cracking and show you how the cards come together. Really simple, really fun. So this is the first card that we're making. And I have a piece of basic black cardstock that's been cut 11 by 4 1/4, folded in half to create the card base, which measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Then there's a piece of Whisper White, and this measures 5 1/4 by 4. And then there's another piece of Whisper White that measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And what you're going to do, you'll see I've created a stencil or a mask, and you're going to put the Sweet and Sassy framelits onto your Whisper White and run it through your Big Shot. Those of you in the club will already have received these masks. In case you don't have the framelits or the thinlits, everything's prepared for you. Yours will look like that without all the ink on it. So all you're going to do is put a little bit of snail behind this Whisper White. I'm just going to take a piece of computer paper and I'm going to put it down like that. And then I'm just positioning my mask right on top. I'm going to use a little bit of tape just to hold that in place. And then these are our sponge sprayers. And when you buy the sponge sprayers from Stampin' Up, you get 2 handles and 4 of the sponge rollers. So these are super awesome. And then you just wash them to clean them. So I've been working on other projects. So I'm actually going to take this off because we are going to start with the Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to put that one on. Okay. So I have recently re-inked that. That's why it kind of looks messy, but it works good, and you want to make sure your ink pads are well inked. Alright, so I've got this inked up really well, and now I'm just going to go on a diagonal back and forth right across the top of the card towards the center. This is so easy and so much fun. Now I'm going to take my Calypso Coral. I'm going to change this sponge out. Now, technically, you could use this yellow right on that Calypso Coral. It'll be fine. But I'm just going to go ahead and use the sponge that I used for the Calypso Coral. And going in the center. And you're going to get that cool ombre look as the colors blend into each other. So you can make this as dark or as soft as you like. And now I'm taking my Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to go on the bottom section. I'll put some more Calypso Coral in the center. All right, let's see how that looks. Take our mask off. So pretty how the colors all just blend into each other. Okay, and the sentiment is from All Things Thanks. We're going to use this sentiment right here. I'm taking my block and I'm putting a little bit of chapstick on it. This is my trick that I use ever since my friend Frenchie mentioned it. It works great. I do it all the time, and it keeps your clear stamps with the labels on your block. No problem. Will not come off until you take it off. I kid you not. Works fantastic. And then you just clean your block off. Okay, now I'm taking my black archival ink, and I'm going to stamp this on the diagonal. Look, I just got ink on there. Oh my gosh, that's okay. Stamping it down. Beautiful. Okay, now we have some of our shimmery black ribbon, and I'm going to take my Wink of Stella You guys have seen me do this before, where I just take something round. It could be a Stampin' Spritzer, it could be your aqua painter, or your Wink of Stella, and you're just going to tie a knot really, really tight and slide it off. And then snip it in the middle. Okay, now I want to cover that ink spot, so I'm actually going to put some snail right across. See? You'd never know that ink spot was there. Alright, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to fold that ribbon down. Put a little bit of snail on that ribbon. And then that goes right on top of the card base. And those of you in my stamp club, with your kits, you also received the rhinestones to embellish your card. So just going to put a couple rhinestones here and there just to add some bling. And then I always just use, generally I just use computer paper that I've cut down to measure 4 by 5 1/4. That goes on the inside, but of course you can use Whisper White cardstock as well. And then you would stamp your sentiment and write your greeting in there, and that's ready to go. Super fun. It's an easy card, but it's really, really nice. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll move on to card number 2. This is card number 2, and it's done exactly the same way that we did on the first card, only we are using the Dragonflies, the Dragonfly, detailed Dragonfly thinlits. And I have also gone ahead, made my mask, so yours will look like that in your kit. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. So I am taking my Whisper White that measures 4 by 5 1/4 and putting a little snail behind it again. Putting my mask on, a little bit of tape. And then the ink pads for this one are Night of Navy, Island Indigo, and Marina Mist. So I'm going to start with the lighter color, which is Marina Mist. And instead of starting at the top like we did on the first card, I'm going to start in the center. And just roll it on. The beautiful thing about the sponge brayers too, compared to the rubber brayer that we used to carry, is you don't get the harsh line marks. It's just too easy with the sponge brayer. Love it. Now I'm going to move on to my Island Indigo. And I'm going to put this on the bottom section of the Dragonfly. Now we're moving on to the Night of Navy and going on the top section of that Dragonfly. Blending it into that Marina Mist. I'm also going to take some of this Night of Navy and just go on this bottom portion of the Dragonfly, just to kind of add some Night of Navy on that second Dragonfly. Okay, I rolled some of this ink off because I have decided I want my Marina Mist to be a little bit darker in that centerpiece. So I'm just rubbing that right on top. All right, that's so nice. It's always magic when you take off the masks. Isn't that nice? Super pretty. All right, I'm going to take my clear Wink of Stella, and I'm actually going to cover the entire inked dragonflies, just to add some beautiful shimmer. Okay, now the second one. So you can imagine the possibilities with this technique of blending your inks in to get a nice ombre look, and also the masking technique, and creating stencils and masks using your dies, which is pretty darn cool. Okay, can you see the shimmer? Oh yes you can. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this onto my Night of Navy card base. And I have my paper for the inside. Okay, and now we need to add our little banner sentiment, and also in your little kits there's already a little banner. And I should mention too, I'm still using the All Things Thanks. This is what we're using for all the cards, and I'm using the You're the Best, and I'm going to ink that with my Night of Navy. And I'm going to stamp it over to the right because I'm going to flag this. So I'm going to trim off the excess, go up the center, and then from corner to the center. I love making these banners. I do them on a lot of my cards. Okay, so I'm taking some mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and if you don't have the mini ones, just use the regular size and cut them in half. And that is going to go right there. And to finish the card, we need a little bit more bling. So I'm taking a large rhinestone and putting that in the center of each dragonfly on their body. And then I'm taking a small one, putting it down below. Love our rhinestones. And then I'm going to take a medium one and put it right above. And there you go. Card number 2. Isn't that pretty? Let's move on to our last card. Alright, this is our last card, and this one is a little bit more detailed, but still that beautiful ombre look using the sponge brayers and the masking technique. Can you guess what this image is from? I used dies. They're new dies, and they are called the Petals and More Thinlit dies, and these are from the Occasions catalog coming out January 2018. And these dies are from a beautiful new suite. This is the Petal Palette stamp set that, oops, sorry for the lighting, you guys. Let me move the camera up a bit, see if that helps. It does. So look at this stamp set. It is sensational, and there's dies for all of these images. We're using the die that coordinates with this image. We're not using the stamp set on this card, but I wanted to show it to you. A little sneak peek there, but we are using the thinlits. Look at this gorgeous thinlit, you guys. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I will show you the mask that I made with that one. Turn it this way so you can see it easier. So obviously it's reverse, but I put it on this way and then I turned it around that way so it would fit, and then I've created this beautiful mask slash stencil. So let's get moving on to the last card. So the colors for this card are Old Olive, Always Artichoke, and Garden Green. The card base is Garden Green. And we have another piece of Whisper White. This measures also 4 by 5 1/4. So they're all the same measurements, these 3 cards, which are part of the December 2017 Stamp Club. So let me put this away so I don't lose it, because if you guys are like me, you have something on your desk for 2 seconds and then you look for it and it's mysteriously gone. That happened to me this morning. I opened up a new clear Wink of Stella, used it, and 2 seconds later I couldn't find it. I still can't find it. It's bizarre. This is an older one that I'm using and it's starting to dry out, but cannot find my my new clear Wink of Stella. It's mysteriously disappeared on my craft desk. All right, a little bit of snail to hold that down. I'm taking my mask and I'm positioning it right on top, and a little bit of tape to hold that into place. Now I'm taking my sponge brayer, and just like the other cards, you want to start with the light green. I should have worn a newer sweater. Sorry, you're probably seeing this old ratty sweater in the video. It's falling apart. I keep this sweater in my craft room, and it's kind of like my my blankie. It just makes me happy when I wear it, but it's starting to get a bit tatty. So you'll have to excuse the sweater, you guys. Keeping it real. All right, let's start sponging. Going right on top. Oh, this is just such a gorgeous die. There are so many wonderful things coming out in the 2018 Stampin' Up! Occasions, and then our new celebration products are equally fantastic. Just Stampin' Up! Has hit it out of the ballpark again, I must say. Okay, so there's our old olive. I'm going to move on to my Always Artichoke. And I'm going to leave the center. That's going to be the garden green. So the Always Artichoke is going, whoops, on the outside. Just like that. And my garden green. Okay, right up the center. Beautiful. And the big reveal. The three colors just blend so nicely. Can you see that? Really, really pretty. All right, I am going to go right ahead and stick this onto my card base. Put it on like that. Okay. Now there's all kinds of bits and pieces in your envelope. So we have a little mini gold foil doily, and we have a piece of Whisper White and Garden Green. I used the Everyday Label punch to punch these out. This punch is from the holiday catalog. And the green bit, I'm going to take my paper snips and cut that right in half. And I'm using the You're Amazing right there from the All Things Thanks stamp set. So what I'm going to do is kind of create an ombre effect on the stamp itself. So I'm going to ink up the whole thing with the old olive. Then I'm going to take my garden green and I'm going to ink up one edge there. And my Always Artichoke, and ink up the opposite end like that. And I'm going to stamp it right down. So now you got the same three greens in the ombre effect right on that label, which is super cool. I'm going to add some snail. And I'm going to position these right on the back. Just like that. Some more snail. And I'm going to position, actually, what we want to do is cut this doily in half. So, I'm going to position it right there on the top like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Isn't that pretty? All right. I'm going to take some regular Stampin' Dimensionals now. And put a few of those on the back. Now I'm taking some of my gold metallic thread. I don't use this a whole lot, but I should because it's pretty darn fun and it adds a really nice touch to the cards. So, did that cut? There we go. Okay, so you're just going to peel off the backings on the dimensionals. Got them all. Then I'm going to take my gold thread and I'm just going to twist it, whoops, and just use the dimensionals to hold it down. And I'm not too particular about this. I just kind of let it go where it wants to go. Oops. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. I think that's good. And then this is going to go right in the center of the card. And if you want to, when you're making your cards, of course you can put it on this way, right? Put it wherever you want. I'm going to put it right in the center, just like that. And then the last step was just adding some mini gold sequins. Let me cut a bit here. So you got a little strip in your kit as well, and then all you're going to do is you're just going to pull off some of those sequins. So that you have some of the little mini sequins. And then what you're going to do, I'm not going to do it on the camera, but I'll show you, but you take your fine tip glue and you add a couple little drops where you want it. Then I just take my stylus and I touched it with my tongue. I know that sounds gross, but that's what I do. And then I just position it right on top of the glue. So pretend there's glue there. And then I just put them where I want. And for something so simple as little tiny mini sequins, they sure add a lot of fun bling to a card. So here's the finished one with the sequins already glued on. So there you have it. Those were the December 2017 Stamp Club projects featuring the sponge brayer masked ombre technique. And those of you in my stamp club, I have sent you another page protector with the printed information and a stamp sample. This here was done exactly the same way, except I used our party pattern masks, and that's what I used for this here. So I hope you enjoyed those cards, and the technique is super fun, and I really think you're going to have fun with it. Thanks for watching. Happy stamping.